Hey, I'm Labron Allen, the founder of the Natural Health Clinic. Kidney stones, they're not just painful. They are a wake-up call that there are things going on with your body and not just your kidneys necessarily. Now, if you've ever passed one, you know it's a pain you'll never forget. So today, let's get real about what causes them, what you can do potentially to prevent them, and why your healthy habits might actually be making things worse. Stay tuned. So, kidney stones are like little rocks, sometimes huge boulders, that form in your kidneys. They're made from minerals and different kinds of salts, and they hurt like hell when they try to move. That's what actually causes the pain, is them trying to move. So there's several most common types of kidney stones. The first is calcium oxalates. That's probably the most common. Then you have uric acid stones. You have struvites, which those are typically infection-related types of kidney stones. And then you have cystine stones, which are rather rare. But what causes all of these different types of stones, and what can you do to hopefully prevent that from happening to you? Well, buckle up, we're going to get into that. So this is actually where it gets juicy, because most conventional advice at this point falls completely flat. In fact, the first thing we're going to talk about, you've probably heard constantly. If you are a person who has chronic kidney stones, you likely know that that in itself is not going to work. Well, what am I talking about? Well, you're going to hear, oh, dehydration, you need water. Well, that's true. You need water, and you need lots of it, especially have a tendency towards kidney stones. But it's not just about water. This is where that advice falls short, because you also need minerals too. And in fact, when you're drinking more water, you actually need more minerals. So if you're drinking more water and you're drinking, for example, reverse osmosis water, well, that's actually a potential recipe for disaster, because you are not going to be getting replenishment of minerals through that water source, because reverse osmosis removes it. I'm not saying reverse osmosis is bad, don't get me wrong, but realize that if you're drinking reverse osmosis or steam distilled water, you need to have some way of truly replenishing your body of these minerals. Now, another root cause is having stomach acid that's too high of a pH. So you actually need very low pH stomach acid. I know that seems completely counter to what you've ever heard, but yes, you did hear me correctly. You need strong stomach acid to properly absorb the calcium and the magnesium and the potassium. So if you have low acid, not enough stomach acid in plain words, or the pH is too high, then you get poor absorption and you get mineral imbalances, which can equal stones. Now, you may have also heard of this one, is that you have too much oxalates in the diet. That's why you're getting these stones. Well, you know, things like spinach and almonds, beets, sweet potatoes, they can all have oxalates in them. They're healthy, but you can eat too much, and if you don't balance that with enough calcium or other minerals, then you can actually create stone formation in that way. So it's not necessarily just eating those things. Again, mineral balance. I hope you're getting that idea. And gut health is an extremely important factor. Your gut bacteria can actually help you break down those oxalates. So if you have leaky gut or dysbiosis, well, then likely you could be in trouble. And of course, I already alluded to it earlier, said it out loud, mineral imbalance. Mineral imbalance is a definite causative factor. So too much calcium or not enough magnesium or potassium or sodium, balance of all of these minerals is key. Like if a person takes calcium supplementation, they are potentially creating a imbalance of this mineral ratio. Think ratios when it comes to minerals and hormones, by the way. So you could have low citrate. Now this is a natural compound, and citrate has been found to actually prevent stone formation. So if you have low levels and you have a tendency towards stones, that equals a big risk factor. And too many vitamin supplements. Yes, again, you heard me. Too many vitamin supplements. You could be mega dosing vitamin C or, like I mentioned earlier, calcium without any of the cofactors that are necessary to buffer the effects of those, such as taking vitamin K2 or magnesium that I mentioned earlier, and that can really backfire on you quite hard. So be careful. So how do we fix it? What can you do to help correct it? Well, let's talk about the solution. So hydrate smarter. You may have already gotten that idea. Add a pinch of quality sea salt or trace minerals to your water. You can use Celtic sea salt, Redmond's real salt. Those have trace minerals organically within the sodium itself, over 70 plus trace minerals. You want to aim for about 80 ounces, maybe to 90 ounces a day of water. Excuse me. And of course, if you hadn't already figured that out, you need to fix your digestion, right? Quit eating crap. You've heard me say that many times, and I'll say it many times in the future as well. You need strong stomach acid. So, people would take Tums and different forms of calcium carbonate in order to help lower that stomach acid, as in remove it, make less of it. That's completely counter to having good digestion, and it will create huge problems over time. So one way that you can do that, I've talked about it in the past, is you can take a tablespoon of apple cider vinegar or even coconut vinegar, which some people can tolerate better, in water before meals and see what that does to help aid your digestion. Of course, you need to balance minerals, obviously. So don't just supplement calcium. You also need to keep in mind that, well, you really need all the minerals, including trace minerals, and maybe especially trace minerals. Of course, you need the magnesium, and you need the potassium, and that vitamin K2 is very, very important as well. And it can be helpful to lower oxalates. Now, it doesn't mean to completely get rid of them. In fact, if you have to completely remove oxalates in order not to form kidney stones, then there's definitely other things going on. Keep that in mind. But you can temporarily cut back on some of those high oxalate types of foods while you're getting other things in balance. And then go back to those foods, because overall, those are healthy foods to be consuming. You need to support your gut. You can use a gut healing protocol, different types of pre and postbiotics. It's not just probiotics anymore, folks. There's pre and post as well. And there are specific probiotics that help to break down oxalates. And then you can also check your overall pH. You can test that through urine, but realize that overall urine pH doesn't have a lot to do with body pH, but still you can see where you're at with that method, but just keep that in mind. Urine pH really has nothing to do with overall body pH, and certainly not blood pH. In fact, that's why your pH is going to change in the urine, because your body's trying to keep that very narrow pH of what your blood requires. And of course, stop eating garbage, right? Stop the snacking. Give your body time to detox in between meals. Don't be eating 4 or 6 meals a day. Fasting can actually be very helpful in this case as well. And if you had a kidney stone before, unfortunately, you are at much greater risk to have another one. So follow these steps, and let's make sure that that doesn't happen again. At the Natural Health Clinic, we help people that may be just like you, fix all kinds of health situations, or optimize their health, excuse me, or meet their health goals, whatever the case may be. Excuse me. So we do that by addressing the root causes, identifying what's happening with cellular metabolism. Is there cell toxification issues? What's really happening within the system, and finding the root causations. So we're not just looking at symptoms, and we don't even care about symptoms, because symptoms are just a sign that something needs to improve in your health. And so if you're interested in working one-on-one with us, then what you can do, very simple, just click the links that you see as far as booking a consultation along with this video, or you can, of course, give our office a call, and we can help you that way as well. What we will certainly do, though, is help you to uncover what your body's trying to and tell you all this time. You'll finally know, and we will help you create a real plan to fix it. So, thank you very much for watching. Please like, comment, share, because someone may be able to find this information to help them because you did like, comment, or share this video. And don't forget, your body breaks down for a reason. Don't ignore what that is. Instead, fix it, and let's get you feeling better. Thanks for watching.